the best place to start is from a technology perspective. What was the conclusion? What is the threat that data holders, data users around the world face right now?
It's a cyber mayhem out there. What our research report found was 1 in 3 people lost their personal information and they don't even know about it. Personal information such as social security number and other contact information. And what is also interesting is that 2 out of the 3 organizations have data growing so fast that they can't even keep up with the data security. 98% of the IT leaders are saying that they can't secure the data because the data growth is so much. Just look at what happened at MGM. MGM had $100 million cost because a lot of their customers' credit card information, contact information was actually stolen.
I think the staggering figure that jumped out at me is that 1 in 2, or 50% of all companies that have had some kind of loss of data from a cyber incident, where is the threat coming from? You know, traditionally we'd say, oh, well, it's coming from Russia or China. Is that still the case?
It's a combination of many things. You could have bored teenagers trying to monetize. You could have nation-state actors, industrial espionage. I mean, the cyber landscape is much more complex, much more active, is because the digital economy is becoming such a big part of the overall economy, and cyber is a massive threat to our economy.
Precisely. Total volume of data at an organization that they need to secure is sort of rising, you say, 7x over the next 5 years. What on earth, then, is a CSO to do in this current environment? Just spend more and more, get more and more sort of focus on cyber, on bringing in more protections? How on earth can they battle this just absolute explosion of data?
We have to reframe the cyber discussion. Cyber discussion so far has been about prevention of attacks, and that's what cybersecurity industry is doing the last 20, 30 years. We have to reframe the discussion from prevention to resilience. You have to do prevention, but that's not enough. The resilience says that you can continue to operate the business even in presence of cyber attacks and breaches. You protect your customers' information, your IP, your core business data, even when the breaches and attack happen. That's the future, cyber resilience.
The future, many would say, is also how you deploy generative AI more broadly into becoming not only the attacker, but the protector here. You're backed by Microsoft, of course, which is pinning an awful lot of its future on artificial intelligence. How are you weaving it in at Rubrik?
Cyber attacks have gone beyond human comprehension. You have to fight fire with fire. And as attackers are leveraging AI to generate more codes to actually attack you, you have to apply AI to understand what the heck is really going on, because the data lives in on-premises, data lives in cloud, data lives in SaaS applications, and there are so much volume variability and velocity of data generation and usage that you have to apply AI to understand a bad actor touching your data in the cloud or bad actor touching your data into SaaS, and how to connect all these dots to really deliver cyber resilience end to end.
People, we're almost at the end of 2023, believe it or not. Started the year at CES, where everyone said the private sector isn't doing enough to ward off cyber threats. Then in April, we went to RSA, and everyone said the private sector is not doing enough to ward off cyber threats. By the end of 2023, will anyone have done anything to ward off cyber threats?
See, that everybody is trying hard. The challenge is that we are stuck in this old model of preventing attack, trying to stop attack. We need to reframe the discussion saying prevention is important, but just relying on prevention is failure to plan. We need to have a strategic cyber defense initiative, which assumes that attacks are inevitable. And how do you continue to operate the business in presence of attacks? Have a strategy about resilience, have a strategy about recovery, because again, the digital trust is important for a functioning economy. And if you don't have digital trust, if the systems are down for days and days, just in case of MGM, people's ability to transact and have confidence in the system will be very low.
Bipul, I want to ask more about your company, because quite clearly you've got a lot of problems to be solving for other businesses. Tell us a little bit about, well, the exuberance around 2023 wasn't just about people needing to invest in cyber. It was also about, will we get more public offerings? And your name came up time and time again. How is that trajectory going for Rubrik?
Our business is very strong because of the fundamental realization that businesses have to have a plan of cyber recovery, cyber resilience, and that's what we are delivering in the marketplace. Obviously, given the interest rate environment, given the broader macro economy, the market is in a little bit of a situation, and we are watching the market. We are preparing ourselves. When the market is right, when we are ready, we'll enter the public market.
And that happening within 2023, I talked about how little of it is left, is on the cards?
I don't know, to be the honest answer, because I will leave the market prediction to the market experts. But again, I have a view that Rubrik will be a public company, and we want to build a long-term company.